And we're back. Part 2. And this is our regular quick episode. I'm JT and have my homeboy with us. Say something, Mike B.
What they do?
And that's what he always goddamn says.
You angry? Wait a minute. I got a pass to do it this whole year.
You ain't over yet? Oh, I'm sorry. I feel some kind of way already. You still got 3 months. My bad.
Thank you.
My bad. Just better believe the first episode in January. It's on. Better come up with something different.
I'll be ready.
Yes, Million-Man March, D.C. It was different experiences that we had.
Mm-hmm.
We went to the march, and like I said in the previous video that we just did, we went to the vendors, while in the midst of it, and got some somewhat food.
It was the kind of food that kind of holds you over.
It was the truck.
They're supposed to have hot dogs and some other stuff.
And
I will
something
say
that wasn't gonna take over my day.
Yeah, I didn't expect my hot dog to be like a regular.
You got a wiener and a bun.
It was a regular.
You had a
hot dog.
You had a smoky in a bun.
But it was boiled. Like I'm thinking, like they got a grill or something. It's a vendor. Like they don't give you boiled hot dogs.
That should have gave me the first indicator. You don't know how long it's been boiling in that water.
Yeah. You
don't know what they've been doing. And man, I'm like, okay, let me get 2. I'm somewhat hungry. And we partake, and so we go back to the march, mm-hmm. and we getting ready for Farrakhan. And so and by the time he gets up, I'm cool. But I say within about 45 minutes to an hour in his speech, mm-hmm. My stomach started landing. And it felt like somebody. Have you ever been in a fight and somebody hit you in the stomach or mm-hmm. something? And
it was tightening up.
Yeah, it was like tightening up, or you got hit in the balls or something.
Uh-huh.
And it was like that. It was like my stomach just said, "No, nigga, no." And then I'm like, "Oh man, y'all, I don't know. I think I got food poisoning. I don't know what it was. I started sweating when I got away from y'all because I told Mike B and our homeboy Kador, I'm like, hey, I'm just gonna go over.
Yeah, have a seat for a minute. Have a
seat for a minute. Let this subside. Knowing that I'm halfway dead. And I go and man, by then I didn't care. Like if my pants got dirty, I just sit on the ground on a tree and stuff trying to. And it seemed like it wasn't working, man. I wasn't feeling good.
You didn't look like you were feeling good. But I kept telling myself, all you need to do was go and go to the bathroom, do number 2.
A bowel movement wasn't gonna work, man. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't like nothing intestinal.
But your face looked like bowel movement ready. And so that's what I was thinking.
Hey, man, I it was hurting, dude. I don't know what it was. And I came back to y'all. Uh-huh. And I said, hey,
you said, about when y'all gonna be ready? It was like, Negro, this is the Million-Man March. The main speaker is still on stage. And you talking about what time y'all think you're gonna be? Are you kidding me?
Like at the club?
Yes.
Hey, I didn't care about Farrakhan by that point. I didn't care, Hey,
and I'm like,
hey, whenever y'all ready, I'm ready. Let's, I'm damn near ready now.
But see, and I'm sitting there pissed off like this. We came all this way to the Million-Man March, and he talk about what time? We tap your feet about what time y'all
ready? And Kador's like, when he through talking.
Yeah, when the speech is over, Negro.
Okay.
But see, you didn't explain to us that you was on your deathbed.
Man, I was hurting. And man, I went back, I walked around thinking walk
it off.
I can walk it off. I was manning it out. Man, actually, I found, like I told you, I found a good spot. I'm like, these are actually good seats over here. But I couldn't even enjoy it because I'm in pain. I'm just going through people. Excuse me. I might sit for about 2 minutes, and then let me keep on moving. Maybe this will help. And I'm like, Jesus, don't let this be an ulcer. I can't be standing in no hospital
in D.C.
They leave without me.
And I don't know if I would have waited, bro.
And I know you wouldn't. And I wouldn't have put it past.
I would have called your people like, hey,
yeah.
he's still in this.
I got a flight to catch. I'm still on schedule. You know,
ain't nothing wrong with me.
Hey, and I couldn't have blamed you.
So after the march, you know, we found you and you laid out.
I'm laid out. I'm in front of this Indian whatever building was. It was for American Native Americans and stuff. You know, I went in there thinking, you know, I'm gonna get some air. They didn't have the air on. It seemed like it was getting worse and worse. I'm like, wait, at least throw me a bone. Give me some air. And I mean, I'm sweating. And it was a cool day. That's the thing. I'm sweating like it's 90 degrees. I don't know what's going on with me. I'm like, Jesus? You know, it's because, you know, a Muslim is talking? You know, and my I'm going through all the possibilities. Because this ain't, you know, I'm feeling bad, man. I didn't, man. And so I went in there, thought I'd get some air. Nope. I went and laid down on the little rock, and it seemed like it was sacred. I desecrated it, man, because I laid on it out prostrate for a good like 10 minutes trying to like subside the pain that I had. That wasn't working, and so I just went back, and that's when I said, you know, I'm here where I knew there where y'all knew, you know, y'all knew where that was, where we got them goddamn hot dogs. And so that's where I was. I was laid out where we were sitting.
Then we made it to the train. Seemed like it was gonna be late, but when we got to the platform for the train, we looking up and down because this is after the march, so everybody is headed for the train. And it seemed like it wasn't late, or it wasn't late.
Nah,
I feel like
it was around like 4 o'clock. You know, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock.
No, I'm talking about was a train late. I think it was like
8 minutes.
8 minutes,
and that was just the worst. That was like 8 minutes of torture. I'm just gonna sit down. And I didn't care what it was, just ground. And I was just sitting there, just.
And in my mind, I'm like, we ain't taking his ass nowhere again.
I'm feeling terrible, man.
I promise you, I'm like, this Negro refused to use the bathroom.
I did use, but it wasn't. Yeah.
In my mind, I'm thinking that's all it is, and you play.
I tried, and no, it was, man. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. And then we got on the train, and it was all these goddamn.
It was
people.
So many people. I'm like on the train. And it seemed like this is the one time I'm like, he probably need to sit down somewhere. I said, I can't imagine him.
I would have pushed over an old lady to sit down. I'm sorry, it would have happened that day. And usually I'm a gentleman, but that day I'm not getting up.
And I think I got some video of how crowded the train was. We had to stand up. You was able to find the seat.
I found it. I was scoping. As soon as we got on the train, I'm like, I'm sitting by anybody. Usually, you have them open seats.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's mine. Any of them open seats is mine.
Yeah.
And man, I'm up here. I'm holding on.
And this seemed like this was the worst. The second to the worst train operator we ran into. I mean, we was just jerking.
They stopped,
and then he'll stop, harsh stop, and then go a little bit.
Yeah, and then jerk.
What are you doing?
This your first day? I mean, this is a day. I'm like,
the one day you don't need none of that.
And then, I went through so many positions. I was leaning on somebody like the head, and then I got it like this. I'm like, and it's a dude. I'm like, I do not give one fuck. Not one. Man, because I I was trying to find like some type of comfortable position where at least I can endure.
Yeah.
They had damn near goddamn like 6 stops before we got to, and I'm almost got like tears in my eyes. I'm like, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Am I gonna pass out? Or something's gonna have to give. I don't know what's gonna happen.
When we got off the train and was headed to the car, I'm like, hey, do we need to take you to the hospital? And you talking about, no, I just need to rest. I'm like, no. After all these facial expressions, all this noise you making, rest? That don't make no sense. And see, that took me back to Boo Boo. And you don't want to go to the hospital.
I'm like, just let me lay still. Just leave me alone. Mm-hmm. It seemed like it was so many people. I couldn't sit, I couldn't lay, I couldn't do nothing. And I'm thinking about that trip home. I'm like, we ain't got no car. We got to take a train.
Yeah.
And so, I'm like, I just, man, that was like it was like 2 hours of death. I was ready. I was on my deathbed, about to sing to Jesus and call it a night.
Is that what people do when they get dead? Jesus, I got my song ready. Shut up.
Man. Hey.
Right on. At least you got one prepared. At least you got one prepared.
You got that one in the pot.
Right on.
Hey,
we
brother.
Back to the hotel.
I made it back and I went straight to bed. Hey, whatever y'all do, y'all can do. Y'all can party, whatever. I'm trying to handle something out.
I'm trying to live.
Yeah.
You survived the night.
I sure did.
Then you had a little incident with the housekeeping the next morning. When all you wanted was a washcloth.
We come back from unity and all nationalities, and then you go back to I'm a Republican this day. It's too many of them over. I try to communicate with the housekeeper, and I mean just to ask for
you said a washcloth, and then she didn't understand what you were saying.
Nah.
You said face towel.
Let me get a face towel, Nitty. And she like service. I'm like, no, huh? And she like service. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I kind of got what she was like, do you want to be served? Yeah, do you want the room service? I'm like, okay, give us about 30, 60 minutes to an hour, and we'll be all right. And she was looking at me like how I was looking at her. I'm like, this chick don't know what I'm saying. I'm like, okay, let's go back to the original. Washcloth. And she like,
washcloth?
Washcloth. I'm like, okay, yes. And I had to go in and then get a used one. I'm like,
get an example.
Does this ring a bell? It was so hard. I just wanted to get clean. That's all I wanted. And it took about like 3 minutes for me to get a face towel, man.
I was in the hotel room.
And he over there just in the back. I'm over here trying to convey. I'm like getting all these examples, English examples, to a person that don't know English.
It was so funny.
That's why I had to give her. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, that was craziness, man. It was a couple of things that it just wasn't right. Just the train, man. When we got on the train, we went to that Sunday. We just like toured D.C. Mm-hmm. And when we got on the train, we didn't know we had to wait on somebody that was late for work.
Yeah, we was gonna drive the train.
Yeah. We get on the train and everybody's just sitting. And all of a sudden we see somebody come down, this black chick, and then come in and go into the little conductor office. Like, and I looked at back. I'm like, I didn't know we had to wait on. Because she was late.
The train was just sitting there.
It was just sitting there chilling. We waiting on her to get on, get to work. Basically,
that was hilarious.
Man, it was too much. It was too much going on.
We got to do some sightseeing. We went back to the Capitol to see it without all the people.
The fanfare, we got to actually walk around.
Mm-hmm. We ran into a street performance.
Yeah.
We went to the Washington Monument? What's the name of it?
Man, the pointy thing.
We went to the monument.
I think that's Washington Monument. And then we made it halfway to Lincoln Memorial.
Yeah.
Our feet were hurting.
Oh,
and so we took a detour we took a detour to the MLK monument, and we said we'd rather see that than the Lincoln Memorial. We'll go over here and and take pictures and look at that.
We saw we went to the White House. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
You got some Periscope video around the White House, which I'm going to put up later. Mm-hmm. Some people already saw it, but anyway.
Yeah.
What happened? I think after we went from Martin Luther King, we kind of just went back to the hotel to get ready. That was pretty much the trip. Overall, I did enjoy the trip, but one thing about me is, I know that I don't like flying. So when we're out and I know that there's a trip back where I got to get back on the plane, then I'm nervous the entire trip. So I mean, the whole time we were there, I kept thinking, well, Monday we got to get back on that plane. And I don't know what's
never thought about that.
That's just how my mind worked. So
I was thinking about that walk back when we were walking on Sunday. I'm like, we're gonna have to walk back, but flying,
That's just
my feet were rested.
I know how to walk.
Let me fly.
I know how to walk, but
I just close my eyes and sleep. Yeah, I got some music in my ear. I'm straight. Go through about 2 albums.
But then hold on. When we had to walk back to the train station, remember the guy that was at the train with that electric piano that he seemed like he was trying to tune?
Could I say, can you tune electric piano like a keyboard?
No.
Like, no, you ain't. And it seemed like he was trying to tune. I don't know what he was tuning it with. Like something to give me on the right note. I don't know. Maybe he played by ear. But so he's trying to find his note.
Now, that operator, the train operator that we got on, it was a little young white girl.
Is that the one we really was?
Yeah, she was the worst. Because, we would go for about 30 seconds and then she'll just stop completely.
Yeah. And like sometimes no trains behind us or in front of us.
And then she'll start going. And I'm thinking like, hold on. I know that other trains are on the schedule too that have to be coming.
She up here testing on us. Like this is her test run. Like, and we on the train.
And then at one point we were like out in the open, there was a drop on both sides of us.
Trees and forest.
I'm like, man, so I guess this is how it's gonna happen. I always think the worst.
Oh, you always think the worst?
Oh yeah. I guess this is how it's gonna happen.
I'm thinking of exit. That my escapes. That's my thought of. I always do that like when I get in.
Looking for out.
I'm already looking I know where my exits are, so I don't have to think of that shit. Once panic set in, I know where to go. That's my lesson every time. You gotta know your surroundings.
Well, the only reason I didn't like panic is because I'm looking at the locals and they chilling like
that's what happens.
I'm like, how could you get used to this nonsense? But I guess I'm not a train rider, so
you a car rider.
Yeah, but anyway. Overall, it was a pretty good trip. I enjoyed myself as much as I could when I wasn't on duty.
Mike was on duty. Is you the police? That's Mike. Just look at. So you gonna do that? Can I do me? Can I just do me? And that dude, you was everywhere.
I know.
You had your gun ready, boy. So what you doing?
I couldn't help it. Like what's happening?
If you would ask for ID anytime, Mike B had his passport. We're like what you need your passport? That's the only way I travel.
That's the only way I travel.
In the country? you ain't going nowhere. We going to D.C. The dude got his passport. I'm like, they ain't stamping it. They ain't stamping it at all. And then you don't think you fancy and shit. That might be for you. That's the only way I travel. I'm like, okay. Usually when you go out the country, yes. But you did it to do DC.
Hey, I ain't got no other reason to use it, so I'm gonna use it in state in the U.S. I ain't traveling overseas, so I gotta get some use out of it. I only got it to go to Mexico.
Oh man, and that's a shame. That's still like you just going down the street.
They made me get it.
Oh well, yeah. That's it, folks. Cause there ain't nothing really else happened that was like out of the ordinary.
Right.
I'm trying to think.
I don't have anything written down.
You don't? That bus dude.
Oh,
when we try to go home.
Yeah.
Mr. Don't Wait on Nobody. He had one person on his bus. And it was about to take off. Okay.
This is when we came from the, we were leaving the airport because we parked in the economy parking. We were trying to leave the airport. We had to get on the blue bus. He pulled up outside the airport, got one
person, and closed. No,
it was ready to take off. It was ready to take off. I'm knocking on it like, can I ride? Please, I want to go home too.
And it just ruined his day. Like
he let us on,
and then a bunch of other folk that was supposed to get on with the rest of the people. And then he was about to take off again, and we had to say something. Hey! Another woman.
It's some people at the door.
He closed the woman. He closed the door on her. They're like.
He was so focused on trying to, he was looking left to try to merge into traffic instead of looking to see if
actually doing his job, actually picking up people so he can actually go to where he needed to go.
Hey,
that dude, man,
he liked riding solo. Seems like
I don't like too many people, and it seemed like it was just it wasn't convenient for him. It was just like a nuisance for him, to stop. Anybody going on B2. They're like, no, B2. Anybody stopping on B12? Just
yeah. He didn't really want to be there.
He didn't want to be there. I'm like, it's your job, brother. At least give it to me, politely, and cuss me out in your mind or something.
That was the trip.
That was the trip.
I need to post some pictures. Like I said,
we're gonna post videos and pictures of our trip, so you can get
pictures are probably gonna be maybe maybe I'll use some of the pictures for the background for the video.
Yes, that'll be good. What we were talking about,
and then
very good, might be
also on the Facebook page. So make sure you guys are following us on Is This a Quickie Facebook page in order to see more pictures from the Million Man March and just from our trip.
In the trip period. It was good. I'm glad I went. It was a good experience. I can tell my children down the line I was there. Mm-hmm. I heard the men speak. Not everybody gets to have that experience, right. And so, but we're glad to share it with you all. Anything else might be?
That's all I got.
Till next time, folks.